Comment écrire des bonnes phrases en français? How can I write good sentences in French? C'est possible? Pour moi, vraiment? This is something that I can really do. I think you can. Qu'est-ce que tu veux dire? First thing you need to think about is, what do you want to say? Then, how could I say it in French? How could you say it in French, what you want to say? And then lastly, think about, do you know another way to phrase it using the French you already know? Let's take this example. The panda's diet consists mainly of bamboo. So oftentimes students will come up and they'll say, how do I say this? And they'll give me a sentence such as this in English and say, how would I turn this into French? Well, you've got two or three different ideas you could try. First one would be to go to your online dictionary, word reference, and just look up some of the words you might not know, and hopefully you might come up with a sentence that looks along the lines like this. La diète du panda consiste principalement de bamboo. Okay, not too bad. Another strategy that a lot of you like to use, which I don't recommend for many reasons, is Google Translate. In this instance, if you put this sentence in, you would come up with Le régime alimentaire du panda se compose principalement de bambou. Well, I don't know how comfortable you would be saying that, and if it's something that you look at and know right away what it means. Basically, I generally advise you to steer clear of Google Translate. You might get a good translation. This one's not too bad. Sometimes your translations are completely off, though, so it's really not a safe thing to do. And also you end up with using words that you might not be comfortable using, and your audience might not be comfortable reading or hearing. Another way that you could think of, another way that you could phrase it would be to say it another way, a simpler way. So instead of the panda's diet, le panda mange beaucoup de bambou. So yeah, it's simpler. The panda eats lots of bamboo. But you know what? That kind of says what you want to say, doesn't it? So don't be afraid to rephrase things. And actually, I'd prefer you did rephrase things. It would make your sentences a lot easier. Here's some reasons for keeping it simple. As you're working with more words that you know, there's less chance for error. You won't be spelling things wrong. You won't be using words incorrectly. You know what you're doing. You're more comfortable. It's a good thing to do. Your audience will better understand your presentation. So people who are reading your presentation, looking at your poster on the wall, listening to you present it, they'll understand what's going on too, because they'll probably have a similar understanding to French as you do, and you'll be using words that you're all comfortable with. Also, you will be better able to read your presentation. Oftentimes with your French presentations, you need to read them aloud. Other people might want to read them aloud. If you're using words that you're not comfortable saying, you're not going to be doing nearly as good a job as you would if you're using comfortable, familiar words. Also, you'll be more confident in the work that you put out. If you are using simple sentences, words that you are comfortable with, that you know, your presentation will be a lot more comfortable for you. You should be a lot more confident with it. So let's try again another one. Let's look at the panda can be found living in the forested mountains of China. So again, if you want to go to word reference, you need to find some key words here if you don't already know them. Perhaps you do. Hopefully you know things already like China, perhaps, mountains. But if you don't, you're going to look some of them up. And again, you can go to word reference and type in the word that you need. And if you do that, you will find these are the words that we basically came up with. I'll jump ahead. So, trouver, vivant, boiser, les montagnes, la Chine. You put them all together, and you might end up with something like this. Le panda peut être trouvé vivant dans les montagnes boisées de la Chine. Well, That's okay. Boisé, that's kind of a weird one. Some of those words might not be ones that you're super comfortable with, and maybe you just want to make it easier to say. So, can you make it simpler? How about using shorter sentences? So instead of the sentence on the left, let's look at this sentence on the right. Le panda habite aux montagnes de la Chine. Or perhaps, le panda habite à la Chine, le panda habite aux montagnes. So two short sentences, both really nice. They basically say the same things as the first one, probably easier for you to read, and things you'd be more comfortable presenting. Just, I'm imagining. So, des bonnes phrases. Use simple language. Words you already know. Use the dictionary, but use it when necessary for select words. I shouldn't see anyone sitting looking up every word in a dictionary. It's not going to turn out the way that you would like it to. And oftentimes, as you know, in French, certain things are put in a different order than they are in English. So if you look up word for word translations, you're not going to get exactly what you want, or you're not going to get the proper translation or the proper expressions. Use shorter sentences. They're easier to form correctly. Less chance for error. Use Madame's sentence starters. There's always some at the front of the class. Oftentimes when we're doing a project, there'll actually be exemple, des exemples. There'll be examples up there of my example project sentence starters. Use those. No need to reinvent the wheel. That old-fashioned expression meaning don't do something and be creative about it if it's already up there and it looks fine. I'm not saying copy things directly, don't add in any good adjectives or whatever, but don't stress out so hard over being original that your sentences don't make sense. So use examples that are there. That is why they're there, to help you out and for you to use them to make your own sentences better. And finally, that chart in the classroom, des petits mots utiles, those little words like à, du, beaucoup, petite, words that you use a lot. They're just up there spelled correctly for you. Feel free to refer to that to get what you need. Finalement, réviser. Réviser, what does that mean? Réviser toute seule. Review by yourself. Edit. Review what you've done. Réviser avec un ami, une amie. Sit with a friend, read it over, look at it, get their input. Réviser toute seule. Read it yourself again. Take a look. Things jump out at you. Réviser avec un autre ami, une autre amie. Is it compulsory to sit down and edit with another person? Well, I guess not. However, a second set of eyes will see something that you won't see, or maybe that your other friend didn't notice. Don't just come up to Madame. I certainly am happy to review with you. However, I'm one person, and there are many more of you than there are of me. So if you're all waiting for me to take a look at it and check it over with you, you may be waiting a long time and not using your class time wisely. So use your friends. And you know in the class who's really comfortable and confident with their French language. Ask them to look at it. They don't need to look things up for you, but they may spot something obvious to them that's not obvious to you. So use your friends, use your knowledge, and réviser. Review carefully. Alors, bonne chance avec tes phrases. Good luck, guys. Can't wait to see your sentences.